and they win the Super Bowl. The next year, he signs in Dallas, and the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. That Dion was pretty good. Back-to-back years, he signs as free agents, and where he went, championships followed. Next, chronologically, is Peyton Manning going to Denver. He won at least 12 games all 4 of his years there. He was terrific immediately. He was the MVP of the league in his second year there, and they made the Super Bowl. And then, of course, in his final game, they won Super Bowl 50. So Manning's era in Denver, a ridiculous success over the course of 4 years. Then we fast forward to 2020 and Tom Brady. I mean, what can you say? He went to Tampa Bay. They had missed the playoffs 12 consecutive years. Then he shows up and they win the Super Bowl immediately during a pandemic. Tom Brady wound up having several good years in Tampa, but obviously the immediate impact that he made is something perhaps unlike anything we've ever seen in the NFL until now. Saquon Barkley then joins this list, signing as a free agent with the Eagles, ran for over 2,000 yards. He's a finalist for MVP. He's a finalist for Offensive Player of the Year. And once if he has a bad day by his standards in the Super Bowl, he will wind up having rushed for more yards this year, including the playoffs, than any player in any season in NFL history. So he certainly belongs on this list. Dan Graziano, how would you describe the impact that the signing of Saquon Barkley has had on the Eagles?
Put me in a bad position. Obviously, it's had a great impact. He's a great player. He's having a great season. They're in the freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah!
I've been hearing from Jeff Saturday all of this. There's no question about it, and a significant one. But I just like, to me, it's like what they did bringing in Vic Fangio, what they did in the draft and defense, what they did signing, Zach Vaughn and making him into a defensive player of the year candidate. Look at this. They're scoring maybe 1.5 points more on offense this year. The offense was great, still is great. Saquon gives them an explosive element, can score from 60 yards away anytime he wants. This is why the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, right here. They're allowing a touchdown less per game.
I love you.
Come on.
I love you. That's good. I mean, you're right.
What I want to know is why you come to me first. You should have let them say great things about Saquon. And I could have said, he's great, but look at this too.
No, I like this. We start with the defense. Let's do a deep dive on Quinyon Mitchell and how he shut him down and then did the scary Terry.
We got to fill 2 weeks.
Here's the thing. So let's what you're saying is not wrong.
I know.
The turnaround of the Eagles defense has been an enormous part of the story.
Sure.
What I think is also true is that Saquon Barkley, you could make an argument and defend it, as having the greatest season any running back has ever had. I also think his attitude, his leadership, his selflessness, all of the things that he brings.
I think when the culture of that organization, I think, is a stable one. Last year, you're right, it was a little rocky. Bringing Saquon in, I think, did give them something to galvanize around. In Saquon having the season that he has, it really helps whenever you're leading a group to be able to focus on any one thing. And Saquon was that thing this year.
Right.
Whether he was the reason why the defense was great, the defense was part of the reason why they could run the ball as often as they did, because no team can get away from him. That's what happens, is sometimes the defense is not good enough and the team that you're playing against gets away from you, then you can't run the ball anymore. So Saquon's been great. The one thing I did learn from this game, though, is center's kind of overrated. Kind of an overrated position. Kind of over Jason Kelsey, and then we're rotating.
Two heroic efforts that you're going to minimize.
Can do it. They don't even need to be healthy.
I'm not minimizing it. I'm just saying they breaking damn records out there, and they just rolling centers out there. They got 2 good legs between their centers.
Who do we got for center? Oh, it doesn't matter. Just throw anybody out.
Oh, it's like Jason Kelsey. We can't do this without Jason Kelsey? Nah.
Saquon plays center.
So Kelsey's overrated is what y'all are saying. And 2,
no.
Yeah, you said it. You said it.
No, I'm saying he's properly rated. Centers are men. Centers are men.
Okay, so we've got all of that. Then we've got Jalen Hurts. So after the game on Sunday, he was asked, he had sort of an odd comment about his head coach. Let's try and decipher this. Let's do what we do best. Let's overanalyze what Jalen Hurts said about his quarterback Sunday.
Praise from Coach post-game on stage. What's it like playing for Coach Sirianni?
Well, he's done a great job. He's done a great job. I guess he let me on my straitjacket a little bit today.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm not going first here.
You're going to the, I'm sorry, Jalen, you're going to the Super Bowl You just had the greatest day ever. By the way, my favorite stat, maybe in the history of football, and he was a big part of it, the Eagles had 7 rushing touchdowns on Sunday. 7 rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys had 6 rushing touchdowns this season. Philadelphia ran for more touchdowns on Sunday than the Cowboys did all year long. And he got touchdowns. And so, what was that? I mean, what was that we just heard?
Honestly, I feel like he's more taking a shot at us than he is at his coach.
Yeah.
Like
For what?
The perception is that we're saying that he's in a straitjacket.
For accurately pointing out that they had 65 net passing yards the week before?
Right, and so I think that's what he's saying. He listened to a week of us saying that, or several weeks, a whole season of us saying that, and he's like, the same time when he had that one good game, and he was like, this what you guys wanted? Like, he's talking to us. I don't think this is a shot at Sirianni putting him in the straitjacket, but he's talking to the media, he's talking to the fans who say that he's the weakest link on this team, and he's saying, I can do it if I got to.
Right.
Just look, I just did it. I don't need to play in a
He's
straitjacket.
basically saying, go play man, see what I'm going to give you. That's what he basically said. Go test me, is what he basically said. He said, Mike Greenberg, you've been disrespecting me all season. I got something for you. And that's what he came out with. And here's the reality of it. When Josh Allen threw for 127 yards and they beat Baltimore, nobody talked about that, right? That he only needed 65 yards to win whatever playoff game. That's what I keep trying to tell you. It doesn't matter. The greatest part about Jalen is winning. That's what makes you elite. His elite quality is he wins. He's been in 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Winning matters. In whichever way you have to win, you think he doesn't want to go throw for 200 yards every week? Absolutely he would. But that's not the way this team wins. It does benefit their defense. They can run the ball that way. It does benefit their running game that their defense is this good. It's called collective, a team game for a reason. And Jalen Hurts is just throwing a little shade your way. Not my way, because I've been championing all season.
The shade that he hasn't thrown, though, I think the fair criticism of Jalen Hurts is if they are down. The problem is they don't never go down by that much. It's like if you go down a few touchdowns early in the game, all of us recognize that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, those guys, like, the game's not over. But the question is, and to his credit and to this team's credit, we may never have to find out the answer to that question because they just kick everybody.
We found out the answer to that question last year. That's the problem.
Right.
2 things can be true. It is true that Jalen Hurts is capable of doing what he did Sunday and winning a game when the Eagles need him to. It's also true that throughout the course of this season, he has not been consistently accurate or productive as a passer. He hasn't. He was better 2 years ago. That's true. It's not necessarily a dig at him, but it doesn't mean he can't play.
I'm not sure how I got painted as the one who's down on Jalen Hurts. I think
He's got his Saquon, you got your Hurts. It's kind of what goes one and the same.
Jeff, they had 195 feet of net passing yards in the game 2 weeks ago. I mean, when we're counting these things in feet, there's obviously a problem. The receiver is reading a book on the sideline. I can ignore that if you want me to, but it's obviously a thing.
They work extremely well in chaos, and they don't worry about all the ancillary things that we bring at